I don't. I'd have to look up what Zionism even is. What is Zionism? A movement for originally reestablished and now developed protection of the Jewish nation. Now it's Israel. Like Wings, Hamas is hiding hospitals, schools. It's their fault. Israel can't do anything about that. And like I said, Hamas is a pile of shit, right? Using civilians as cover is fucking dog shit. But the bigger person, right, should have to look at this and be like, yo, we're not going to bomb innocent civilians. And then, like, create, like, I don't know, like, for example, let's use the refugee camp, for example, right? You could very easily go into the refugee camp with the military, surround it, right? And then start getting people out of the camp. And you go through and you check every single one until you find the person you want. Or when he sees that you're doing this, he starts to try to run and get out the camp and has a gun. Boom, there, done. Now you don't have to drop a 500-pound smart bomb and kill children. Right? Is that irrational? I don't think a ceasefire is the correct call, John Bono. Here's why. Calling a ceasefire right now would mean that Hamas continues another 10 years. They'll live in and amongst the crowd on the Gaza Strip. I say you have to get rid of Hamas now, right? You go through, you get rid of it now. But the route that they're going to do it at right now is fucking deplorable. New title, When Idiots Speak. What have I said that's idiotic? What have I said that's idiotic? What would you do differently? God, Chris, I don't know what happiness is, dude. Where would they go? You don't have to refugee them. What I'm saying is you go through every building in Gaza and you get rid of the weapons. And at that point, you let people go back to their fucking homes. Dude, George Bush presidency was a fucking travesty. I don't know if you guys remember. You might not be old enough. I remember when George Bush, when we first started invading Iraq, George Bush was all like, the people of the Mujahideen, might have been Al-Qaeda, run, we will find you. We will go and stop at nothing. And now the camera pans back and it says, now watch this drive. Now and then he like hits the golf ball. Yeah, the mission accomplished speech and shit like that. It's like, come on, dude. Let's see if I can find that on YouTube real quick.
We must stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
Fuck. Dog, like people eat that shit up though. Like people love that shit. You ever realize that America's like founded on this like foundation of like we're free, but we're actually not? Like, take land property taxes for example. Like property taxes is by far one of the easiest examples I could use. But my property taxes have went from $200 a year to $1,700 a year in the span of the last 5 years. So it went from like a $200 bill once a year to $1,700 once a year. And my land's completely paid for. My land's been paid for 4 generations of my family. Like, my land was paid for back in like 1965 or some shit like that. So like, there's not been a note on the land that I live on for a long fucking time. And so if I was not to give $1,700 to the local government, they will happily send somebody to my house to either steal my land, beat me up, shoot me, and or kill me, depending on how I interact with them stealing my land. How is that free? How is that free? Like, I watched a video the other day of a guy sleeping in his car in a public park. He wasn't even sleeping. He was just like, he was sitting in his driver's seat with a pillow behind his head watching a movie on his dash, on his phone. And an officer comes up and asks him to move. But before the officer moves, the officer wants to run him through the ID thing. You know, like he wants to give you the ID, blah, 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 blah. They want to run you through the system to see if they can score them a hit. That's what they want to do. That's all they really care about. But because this man didn't want to give him an ID and just move on and go somewhere else, this cop breaks 5 of his ribs and gives him fucking brain trauma because he didn't give him his ID. It's like, how does the punishment fit the crime with something like that? Do politicians get people killed? I mean, like, let's take Hillary out of it. Yes, the answer is yes. Politicians do get people killed. Like, you remember that video we just watched of George Bush with that nice ass smooth drive he did? How many people do you think had their home blown up, car run over by an Abrams tank, and were just shot dead through the choices that man made while he was golfing? It's like this whole Israel-Palestine thing. I can see through this shit. What they're right now trying to do in Iraq right now with Iran. 100%. They want to get American troops into Israel, deal with Israel's little, religious war problem, and then attack Iran and use Israel as a home base to attack Iran. That's what they want to do. They're already trying to say that Iran is the people that are supplying Hamas with weapons. They're already doing it. And the crux of all this is they want oil. They want oil.
Looks like this stream's getting deleted.